On a cold winter night, high above the city of Louisville, there is a building most people never see clearly. From the road below, it appears only as a shadow on the hill. No lights, no movement, just a long concrete structure stretching into the darkness. While the rest of America celebrates Christmas, homes filled with warmth, music, and light, this place remains silent. Waverly Hills Sanatorium. By day, it looks abandoned. By night, it feels unfinished, as if something here never fully ended. This is not a haunted house attraction. This is not a legend created for entertainment. Waverly Hills is a real place, built for a real purpose. During one of the deadliest medical crises in American history, thousands of people came here hoping to recover. Many never left. What remains today is not just a decaying building, but a record of how America once fought disease, isolation, and death, often in silence. And long after the patients were gone, stories began to follow the empty halls. Stories with no official explanation. This is the history of Waverly Hills, and what still lingers here after dark. At the beginning of the 20th century, tuberculosis was one of the most feared diseases in the United States. Before antibiotics, tuberculosis, commonly known as TB, spread easily through the air. There was no cure, only management. Doctors believed that fresh air, sunlight, rest, and isolation were the best available treatments. As cities grew more crowded, TB spread faster. Louisville, Kentucky was no exception. By the early 1900s, the city faced a public health crisis. Hospitals were overwhelmed. Patients were contagious. Families were terrified. The solution was isolation. In 1910, a small wooden sanatorium was built on Waverly Hill, far from the city center. The location was intentional. The elevation provided cleaner air, and the distance reduced the risk of infection spreading into Louisville. The facility was named Waverly Hills Sanatorium. At first it was modest, but tuberculosis did not slow down. By the 1920s, Waverly Hills expanded into a massive 5-story concrete structure capable of housing hundreds of patients at a time. It became one of the largest tuberculosis sanatoriums in the country. Inside, life was rigidly controlled. Patients followed strict schedules. Windows were kept open year-round, even in winter to maximize airflow. Beds were often rolled onto open-air porches, regardless of temperature. This was not comfort. This was survival. For many patients, admission to Waverly Hills meant months or years away from family. Visits were limited. Physical contact was discouraged. Some patients improved, many did not. Despite its grim purpose, Waverly Hills was designed to function like a small, self-contained city. There were dining halls, recreation rooms, classrooms for children, and even a hair salon. Music performances and holiday events were organized to maintain morale. Christmas was observed quietly. Patients decorated small trees near their beds. Staff attempted to bring moments of normalcy into an environment defined by illness, but behind the effort to appear humane was a constant presence of death. TB patients often deteriorated slowly. Weight loss, chronic coughing, breathing difficulties. Many patients were young, some were children. Medical treatments were invasive and experimental. Before antibiotics, doctors attempted procedures like lung collapse therapy, intentionally disabling part of the lung to slow the disease. Surgeries were painful. Recovery was uncertain. Staff worked long shifts under constant exposure risk. Nurses and doctors lived on site. Some contracted tuberculosis themselves. Waverly Hills was not a place people chose to stay. It was a place they endured. As deaths increased, the sanatorium faced a difficult problem. How do you remove bodies from a facility filled with living patients without destroying morale? The answer was discretion. A tunnel was constructed beneath the building, sloping downhill toward a service road. Officially, it was used for supplies and laundry. Unofficially, it became known as the body chute. When a patient died, their body was wrapped and transported through this tunnel, out of sight of other patients. The goal was psychological. Administrators believed that seeing frequent deaths would cause patients to lose hope and give up. There are no exact records of how many people died at Waverly Hills. Estimates range from several thousand to over 6,000 deaths. What is certain is that death was routine. It happened quietly, often at night, often without ceremony. Families were notified later. Inside the building, life continued. Beds were filled again. By the late 1940s, medical science changed everything. Antibiotics were introduced. Tuberculosis became treatable. Sanatoriums across the country began to close. Waverly Hills officially ended tuberculosis operations in 1961. But the building did not remain empty. It was briefly reopened as a geriatric care facility. This phase of its history is controversial. Reports of neglect surfaced. Conditions deteriorated. The facility closed again in the early 1980s. After that, Waverly Hills was abandoned. Windows shattered. Paint peeled. Nature reclaimed the halls. Vandalism followed. And with abandonment came attention. Years after its closure, people began returning to Waverly Hills. Not patients, visitors, former staff, security guards, paranormal investigators. They reported things they could not explain. Footsteps in empty corridors, voices where no one was present, shadows moving independently of light. One room in particular became well known. Room 502. According to accounts, 2 nurses died there under unclear circumstances during the sanatorium era. One reportedly fell or jumped from a window. No official records confirmed these events conclusively, but stories persisted. Visitors described sudden emotional shifts near the room. Some claimed to hear crying. Others reported seeing a figure standing near the window. There are also reports involving children's voices in the former pediatric wing. Former employees stated that motion sensors were triggered when no one was present. Security guards claimed to hear sounds coming from locked floors. Multiple television crews conducted overnight investigations. Equipment captured sounds that investigators could not identify. No scientific explanation has been universally accepted, but no definitive evidence has been produced either. What exists is a pattern of consistent reports spanning decades. Today, Waverly Hills operates as a historical site. Daytime tours focus on medical history. Night tours explore reported experiences. People come not just for fear, but for curiosity. Waverly Hills represents something unresolved in American memory. It is a reminder of a time when medicine was limited, isolation was normal, and death was handled quietly. For many visitors, the building feels heavy, not because of ghosts, but because of what happened here. Thousands of lives paused on this hill. Thousands of goodbyes were never spoken. During winter nights, Waverly Hills feels different. The air is colder, the hill is quieter. While Christmas lights glow in Louisville below, the sanatorium remains dark. No decorations, no music, just long hallways and open windows. Some believe this contrast makes the building feel more intense. Others believe it simply makes people more aware of silence. There is no official explanation for what people experience at Waverly Hills. Some believe the stories are the result of trauma, memory, and expectation. Others believe something remains. What is certain is this: Waverly Hills is not a myth. It is not fiction. It is a real place, built to save lives, shaped by loss, and left behind. And after dark, it continues to ask the same question. What happens to places where too many stories were never finished? Some places don't end. They simply stop explaining themselves.